Welcome to our exploration of one of the enduring mysteries of biblical lore. Who was Cain's wife? In this video, we embark on a fascinating journey into the depths of the book of Genesis to unravel the enigma surrounding this often overlooked character. The story of Cain and Abel, the sons of Adam and Eve, is one of the earliest tales recounted in the Bible. It's a narrative rich with symbolism and moral complexity, exploring themes of sibling rivalry, jealousy, and the consequences of sin. Yet, nestled within this ancient saga is a question that has intrigued scholars and laypeople alike for generations: where did Cain's wife come from? As we delve into this intriguing question, we'll navigate through the twists and turns of Cain's lineage and history. We'll examine the biblical text, consider historical and cultural contexts, and explore various interpretations and theories put forth by theologians and scholars over the centuries. Join us as we embark on this quest for knowledge and understanding, seeking to shed light on the identity of Cain's wife and the broader significance of her role in biblical history. Whether you're a seasoned scholar or simply curious about the mysteries of the Bible, there's something here for everyone. Let's unravel the mystery together. Cain's descendants. In this section, we'll delve into the lineage of Cain as described in the book of Genesis and explore the significance of his descendants in early biblical narratives and human history. 2.1 The exile of Cain. After Cain's heinous act of fratricide, he is confronted by God and subsequently exiled from his family and the land he had known. This punishment, while severe, is also marked by a sign of God's protection, as Cain fears retaliation from others. This episode raises questions about justice, mercy, and the consequences of human actions. 2.2 Cain's building of a city. Genesis 4 verse 17 tells us that Cain settles in the land of Nod, east of Eden, where he builds a city and names it after his son Enoch. The act of city building by Cain, often considered one of the first recorded instances of urbanization in biblical literature, raises intriguing questions about the development of human civilization and the role of innovation and community building in early societies. 2.3 The lineage of Cain. The descendants of Cain, listed in Genesis 4 verses 17 to 24, include figures such as Enoch, Irad, Mehujael, Methuselah, and Lamech. While these names may seem obscure to modern readers, they represent a significant lineage in biblical genealogy. Exploring the lives and deeds of Cain's descendants provides insights into the trajectory of human history according to biblical tradition, including the spread of agriculture, animal husbandry, and various crafts and skills. 2.4 Lamech's Song of Boasting. One notable figure among Cain's descendants is Lamech, who boasts to his wives about killing a man for injuring him and a boy for merely striking him. Lamech's song, recorded in Genesis 4 verses 23 to 24, reflects a stark contrast to the divine punishment and mercy associated with Cain's story, highlighting the increasing moral ambiguity and violence in early human society. 2.5 Reflections on Cain's lineage. The lineage of Cain offers a fascinating glimpse into the complexities of human nature and the unfolding of civilization according to biblical tradition. From the consequences of sin and exile to the achievements and moral failings of subsequent generations, the story of Cain's descendants invites reflection on themes such as justice, redemption, and the human capacity for good and evil. Cain's history. In this section, we'll delve deeper into the story of Cain and Abel, examining their upbringing, relationship, and the events leading to Cain's infamous act of fratricide. We'll also analyze Cain's punishment and exile, as well as his interactions with God and the mark of protection placed upon him. 3.1 Upbringing and relationship with Abel. Cain and Abel, the sons of Adam and Eve, represent the archetypal brothers in biblical narrative. They are born into the aftermath of the fall, growing up in the shadow of their parents' expulsion from the Garden of Eden. Despite being born into a world marred by sin, Cain and Abel are raised with the knowledge of God and the expectation of offering sacrifices to Him. 3.2 The offering and God's response. When Cain and Abel bring their offerings to God, Abel's sacrifice of the finest of his flock is favored over Cain's offering of the fruit of the ground. The reasons for God's acceptance of Abel's offering and rejection of Cain's are subject to interpretation, but they lead to feelings of jealousy and resentment in Cain. 3.3 The murder of Abel. In a fit of jealousy and anger, Cain lures Abel into a field and kills him. This act of fratricide is a pivotal moment in the biblical narrative, marking the first instance of violence and death among humanity. Cain's actions not only result in the loss of his brother's life but also bring about a rupture in his relationship with God and his family. 3.4 Punishment and exile. After committing the murder, Cain is confronted by God, who curses him and condemns him to a life of wandering. The punishment meted out to Cain reflects the severity of his crime but also hints at God's mercy, as he places a mark on Cain to protect him from harm by others. 3.5 Cain's mark and legacy. The mark placed upon Cain by God serves as a symbol of divine protection but also as a reminder of his sin. As Cain ventures into the land of Nod, east of Eden, his mark becomes a sign of his identity in his status as a wanderer. Despite his exile and the weight of his guilt, Cain's story continues to resonate with themes of redemption, forgiveness, and the enduring consequences of human sin. Cain's wife. History. In this section, will directly address the question of Cain's wife and explore various interpretations and theories regarding her identity and origin. We'll examine the narrative gap in Genesis, discuss scholarly and religious viewpoints, and consider alternative perspectives. 4.1 The mystery of Cain's wife. One of the enduring mysteries of the Cain and Abel narrative is the identity of Cain's wife. Genesis 4 verse 17 mentions Cain settling in the land of Nod, where he has a wife and builds a city, but the text does not provide details about her origin or background. This omission has sparked curiosity and speculation among readers throughout history. 4.2 Intrafamilial marriage. One common interpretation posits that Cain's wife was one of his sisters or another close relative. In the early chapters of Genesis, there is evidence of intrafamilial marriage among the descendants of Adam and Eve, as the human population was still small and limited to their immediate family. While the concept of marrying a close relative may seem unusual or even taboo by modern standards, it was not uncommon in ancient societies, where familial ties and alliances were highly valued. 4.3 Alternative perspectives. Other interpretations suggest that Cain may have encountered additional human beings outside of his immediate family upon his exile to the land of Nod. These individuals could have been descendants of Adam and Eve who were not explicitly mentioned in the biblical narrative. Alternatively, some speculate that there may have been other human populations existing concurrently with Adam and Eve's family, leading to the possibility of Cain marrying someone from outside his immediate lineage. 4.4 Scholarly and religious viewpoint. Scholars and theologians have offered various explanations for the identity of Cain's wife, drawing on linguistic, historical, and archaeological evidence. Some propose that the narrative gap in Genesis reflects a selective focus on certain aspects of the story rather than an omission of relevant details. Others argue that the ambiguity surrounding Cain's wife serves a literary or theological purpose, emphasizing broader themes such as human origins, the consequences of sin, and the complexities of divine providence. 4.5 Reflections on Cain's wife. The question of Cain's wife continues to stimulate discussion and debate among scholars, religious leaders, and lay readers alike. While the identity of Cain's wife remains uncertain, the mystery surrounding her serves as a reminder of the richness and depth of biblical narrative, as well as the limitations of human understanding. Ultimately, the story of Cain and his wife invites us to ponder the complexities of human relationships, the consequences of our choices, and the enduring mysteries of faith and history. Modern interpretations of Cain's wife. In this section, will explore contemporary perspectives on the story of Cain and his wife, including literary, cultural, and artistic interpretations. We'll analyze popular culture references, consider modern implications, and discuss how this ancient narrative continues to resonate in today's society. 5.1 Literary and cultural references. Throughout history, the story of Cain and his wife has been a source of inspiration for writers, poets, and artists across various cultures. From John Milton's epic poem, Paradise Lost, to contemporary novels and short stories, Cain's narrative has been reimagined and reinterpreted in countless ways. These literary works often explore themes such as guilt, redemption, and the human condition, offering fresh perspectives on familiar characters and events. 5. To film and television. Cain's story has also been adapted for the screen, with filmmakers and television producers incorporating elements of the biblical narrative into their works. Whether depicted as a literal retelling or a modern-day allegory, Cain's tale continues to captivate audiences and provoke thought. From epic historical dramas to thought-provoking science fiction, the story of Cain and his wife has been explored in a variety of genres and formats, resonating with viewers of all ages. 5.3 Music and art. In addition to literature and film, Cain's story has inspired musicians, visual artists, and performers to create works that engage with its themes and imagery. From classical compositions to contemporary art installations, the legacy of Cain and his wife is evident in the diverse array of creative expressions found in galleries, concert halls, and performance spaces around the world. These artistic interpretations often reflect on issues such as justice, morality, and the search for meaning in a complex and uncertain world. 5. For contemporary relevance. Despite being thousands of years old, the story of Cain and his wife continues to resonate with modern audiences, offering insights into timeless questions about human nature, morality, and the pursuit of meaning. In a world marked by conflict, division, and uncertainty, the story of Cain reminds us of the enduring power of myth and legend to illuminate the human experience and provoke reflection on our shared humanity. 5.5 Conclusion. The enduring legacy of Cain's wife. In conclusion, the story of Cain and his wife has captivated and intrigued readers, viewers, and listeners for centuries. Whether viewed through a religious, literary, or cultural lens, Cain's narrative invites us to explore fundamental questions about identity, morality, and the consequences of our actions. By engaging with the story of Cain and his wife, we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us, reaffirming the enduring relevance and power of ancient myths and legends in shaping our collective imagination. MG Expand Part 1, Introduction of the story. ChatGPT. Certainly, let's expand on the introduction section. 1. Introduction. The story of Cain and Abel, found in the book of Genesis, is one of the most well-known narratives in the Judeo-Christian tradition. It serves as a foundational myth that explores themes of sibling rivalry, jealousy, sin, and divine judgment. The tale begins with the sons of Adam and Eve, the first human beings according to biblical tradition. 1.1 The creation of Adam and Eve. According to Genesis, God creates Adam, the first man, from the dust of the earth and breathes life into him. God then forms Eve, the first woman, from Adam's rib, establishing the bond of marriage and the foundation of human society. Adam and Eve are placed in the Garden of Eden, a paradisiacal sanctuary where they live in harmony with nature and with God. 1. To the fall and its consequences. However, the tranquility of Eden is shattered when Adam and Eve disobey God's commandment and eat from the forbidden tree of knowledge of good and evil. This act of disobedience, known as the fall, results in their expulsion from Eden and introduces sin and death into the world. Adam and Eve's descendants inherit the burden of their disobedience, setting the stage for the unfolding drama of human history. 1.3 The birth of Cain and Abel. As Adam and Eve begin to multiply and fill the earth, they give birth to two sons, Cain and Abel. The names of the brothers carry symbolic significance, with Cain meaning acquisition or possession and Abel meaning breath or vapor. The contrast between the names foreshadows the conflict that will arise between them and the divergent paths they will take in life. 1.4 The offering and God's response. The central conflict of the Cain and Abel narrative revolves around their offerings to God. Abel, a keeper of sheep, offers the choicest of his flock as a sacrifice to God, while Cain, a tiller of the ground, presents the fruits of his labor. God accepts Abel's offering but rejects Cain's, sparking feelings of jealousy and resentment in Cain's heart. 1.5 The tragic outcome. As tensions escalate between the brothers, Cain lures Abel into a field and murders him in a fit of rage. The consequences of Cain's actions reverberate throughout the biblical narrative, serving as a cautionary tale about the destructive power of envy and the consequences of succumbing to sin. 1.6 The question of Cain's wife. Amidst the drama of Cain and Abel's story, one question often arises: who was Cain's wife? This enigmatic figure, mentioned briefly in the biblical text, has sparked curiosity and speculation for centuries, prompting scholars, theologians, and lay readers to explore various interpretations and theories. By delving into the story of Cain and his descendants, we gain insight into fundamental aspects of human nature, the complexities of family dynamics, and the enduring struggle between good and evil. As we journey through the narrative of Cain and Abel, we are invited to reflect on our own relationships, choices, and moral responsibilities, resonating with themes that transcend time and culture.